Stars. Kate Middleton has been leaning on a vital royal family member whom some regard as a royal weapon during her recent health crisis. Royal expert Jenny Bond reveals that the Princess of Wales has grown particularly close to the Duchess of Edinburgh, Sophie Wessex. Bond, a former BBC royal correspondent, describes Sophie as a loving and supportive figure for the future queen. In light of her health challenges, Kate Middleton has found solace and strength in her relationship with Sophie. That's wild. I really can't remember seeing photos of them hanging together, one-on-one, not with the husband sandwiched between them. The Duchess of Edinburgh has reportedly been a steadfast source of comfort and guidance, helping Kate navigate this difficult period. Or is Sophie too tainted by her own past scandals and too old and, relative to Kate, too unattractive to be a threat? Oh, did I say that out loud? She says, Sophie is a natural, humble woman, clearly still very much in love with her husband, the husband who snatches his arm away from her touch. A woman who has grown into her role without fuss or fanfare because she couldn't make it on her own and left her consulting business hundreds of thousands of pounds in debt. Sophie has become one of the most loved members of the royal family, forging a deep and mutually affectionate relationship with both of her in-laws, the late Queen and Prince Philip, Jenny revealed, claiming Queen Elizabeth II even regarded Sophie as a second daughter after Princess Anne. Oh, how quickly we forget. Wasn't Sophie the one talking ish to a fake sheik? A brown British journalist disguised as a sheik to try to trick Sophie into a cash for excess scandal. Did we forget about that? Second daughter. I guess you can make all kinds of claims now that the late Queen and Prince Philip are cold in the grave. Sophie is delightfully open about her love for her husband. She is close to Catherine and has no doubt been a great support to her in her health crisis. Even though a 17-year age gap seems a lot to bridge, the two women have a lot in common and became firm friends quite early on, to the point that nobody knew about it, right? We're not talking about Zara Tindall, who I suspect to have, been babysitting the Wales children, at least part of the time. It's like, who do you have to pick from? And very funny that none of the cousins of William qualify as close friend, best friend, trusted secret weapon, none of that. Never anyone who is a peer, never anyone who could compete with Kate to do public work as a working royal or to get those precious, precious inches in print media, photographed and lauded as being an admirable royal. We wouldn't want that again, would we? We worked so hard to pry the last competition not only out of the royal palace, but entirely out of the country. And the pressure to stop and inhibit Meghan Markle and her husband from doing public work, good work, philanthropic work in the UK and beyond has never relented. Sophie knew exactly what lay in wait for Catherine as she joined the family, and she knew it wouldn't always be easy, the expert continued. Bond then notes, by nature, Sophie is a kind and generous person who has always been happy to act as a sounding board, mentor, confidant, and then run back and tell Camilla, I am sure. Or sometimes just another girl to share a giggle with. So I have no doubt that Sophie has been someone to whom Catherine has frequently turned. They've often been seen enjoying a private joke at Meghan Markle's expense in public and certainly seem more like sisters than aunts and nieces by marriage. Sophie has retained a girlishness about her, right? That's exactly what the patriarchy likes. For you to waste your time staying fit, dressing up, and having nothing to say, especially after you get yourself in trouble with a fake chic journalist like Sophie did. While Catherine, perhaps because of her very senior role in the family, sometimes seems mature beyond her years. It's amazing what people can project on you when you shut your mouth. Sophie has really stepped up to support Kate during this time, Bond explains. She's been a shoulder to lean on and has provided invaluable advice and companionship. The bond between the two duchesses highlights the strength and unity within the royal family, especially during times of personal hardship. Sophie's support is not only a testament to her character, but also to her desperation for free housing and maybe a little bit of budget for outfits to wear to garden parties and all sorts of public working royal events, in the hope that maybe, just maybe, she'll make it into the winner's circle and become a working royal. Isn't this the woman that they sent on her own to Ukraine? Wow. The bond between the two duchesses highlights the strength and unity within the royal family, especially during times of personal hardship. Sophie's support is not only a testament to her character, but also underscores the importance of family connections in overcoming challenges. Kate's reliance on Sophie during her health crisis has brought the two closer, forging a strong and supportive relationship that will likely endure as Kate continues her journey as the future queen. Really, this connection is seen as a positive development within the royal family, showcasing their ability to rally around one another in times of need. The close relationship between Kate and Sophie is an inspiring example of the powerful bonds that can form within a family when you take everybody else out of the mix. Caring, providing much-needed support and encouragement during difficult times. As Kate navigates her health issues, the presence of a caring and dependable family member like Sophie is undoubtedly a source of comfort and strength. Wow. Well, that certainly is one version of things, but let's hear a version that isn't quite so bright and shiny. Much like Into the Woods by Stephen Sondheim, let's take a look at the flip side version of just the kind of public and private behavior we have been seeing from Miss Sophie. Hogwash. Does Sophie deliberately waiting to pat Prince William on his back while clearly not attempting to support Catherine with so much as a glance? That's encouraging Catherine? Oh, how do you believe? Observing the exit off the balcony at Trooping the Colour, refusing to exit with her own family, waiting to pass through the designated senior royal's door while escorting Prince William? Please. King Charles is Catherine's protection, a relationship grown through years of respect and affection. And let's not forget how that skirt gets pulled up, blown up, tucked up, just when King Charles is standing on the stairs, looking, seeing all those photos in the press. Yes, a relationship grown through years of respect, affection, and eyes like saucers. Cancer didn't just show up and buddy the princess and king. She stood there while her whole family went on inside with appropriate timing, and she stayed on the balcony actually following Prince William. Sophie stood there while her whole family went on inside with appropriate timing, and she stayed on that balcony actually following Prince William. By observing, it appears she waited on him to give him that pat, on camera, photographed, video recorded for the world to see. She may have just as well patted him non-publicly. It's unclear if it was also for cameras for Sophie to walk off that balcony last. But that pat spoke volumes. They're all vipers. They're all just clawing their way back into the good graces of the senior royals, trying to be perceived as someone who can step into the gap, someone safe, someone reliable, someone already trapped, with no escape, no job, no access to any means of support outside of that family, not for lodging, not for food, not for clothing budget, not for nothing. They don't even have social media, right? Zara Tindall is at least trying to do brand deals with that CBD company, having that CBD oil on top of her purse at Cheltenham, right? Suspicious, money-changing opportunities that Sophie and Mike Tindall are engaging in. That is not available to Sophie Wessex. If you agree that that pat on William's back was sus, then thank you very much for having a clear, independent opinion. If you look at a video recording of Trooping the Color, at the 11:20 mark, Sophie approaches and makes a beeline to Queen Consort Camilla. Sophie squeezed in next to her and left in the dust were Sophie's husband Edward and daughter Louise. Poor Princess Royal Anne was at least a COVID distance away from her husband and Louise. Louise Anne and her husband understood the assignment. Families together in units, space between families, a lot of vacant real estate on the balcony, and family clusters with space between would keep optics in balance. At the 11:29 mark, Sophie is, within optics, clearly using space between herself and Camilla inappropriately. They are practically touching each other's shoulders. 14:06 mark. Do yourself a favor and watch from this point forward. When played a couple of times, the gruesome staring, waiting to go into the family interior with William. Edward attempted to communicate to Sophie the idea of departing with him and their daughter Louise, but she didn't even look his way, but remained rooted firm in the spot she selected. It is so that movement and forcing herself into a space, allowing her to exit through the king's door instead of her own family door. Right? It's amusing how Sophie is supposed to be this royal weapon, the glue keeping the family together. I didn't even realize Charles and Andrew had another brother until this year. Right? And the math of who Zara is versus Sophie versus Louise versus any number of blondes in that family, it takes you a minute to remember who they are and who they're married to. There has to be some kind of strain between Kate and Sophie if the tabloids are picking now to push Sophie in the headlines, using Kate as the lead, right? We've seen these shenanigans before. Sometimes they push Kate in the media, using Meghan as the lead. Sometimes they push the York sisters in the headlines, using the Wisteria sisters as a lead. It's always a pivot point, always a point of comparison with the women, right? Maybe with Prince Harry too. But how many people are they going to nominate as the secret weapon for us to see that they all just evaporate like the morning dew? We haven't seen any impact from any of these secret weapons. It's just blah, 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 and more headlines that lead to nothing and nothing and nothing. Let me know what you think, stars.